The leaks for chapter 348 dropped, and it's such a fire chapter. In this video, we head back to side B, and after such a long time, we get to see Nagi finally. But I know you guys don't like being spoiled, so you will have to wait to know more. However, trust me, the ending after that is just insane. But so as not to waste any time, let's get right into it. Alright, so the chapter starts off with us getting into side B, and not just that, but getting to 90 minutes ago. Here we see Teppei, who is pretty much just a no-name. Anyway, he says that, so basically the 11 of them become the cage. Mizuki, who is the absolute GOAT, says that they just have to keep away the ball as many times as they can from those two guys who are acting as the birds within the time limit, asking if he is right. We then get a close-up to Shindo, who tells him that he is spot on, and that only the first 3 pairs to finish can clear it, saying that the first ones playing the role of birds are Kira and Nagi. Or he doesn't say that, but we already know that it's the 2 of them. Nagi looks at the ball which has just appeared, and he tells Kira to hold on. Meanwhile, Kira says his own name, but this has to be some sort of mistranslation. Anyway, with that we see both Kira and Nagi rushing against the others with all that they can to try and take away the ball. We then get to some real no-names. One of them tells the other one who has the ball not to let them take it and to pass it to him. The other, no-name, tells him to be silent and that they are coming hard at them. We then see the no-name passing the ball to another player who just screams out, as we saw him being able to get behind Kira, went to him, and tried to tackle him, but unfortunately missed him. This makes Kira annoyed, as he explains that pressuring them one by one isn't going to work. With that in mind, he says that he is going to narrow down the target and corner them, telling Nagi to try and anticipate the play, and then go to trap the ball. Nagi looks a bit shocked and confused, but he tells Kira that he's got it. We then see the ball landing in the hands of yet another NPC who seems super confused and scared as he sees Kira coming at him. Kira looks super determined as he is going ahead super fired up, and this makes it so that NPC 2 screams at the other one and asks what he is doing, telling him to just let it flow with a one-touch pass. This makes NPC 1 a bit mad, but he has no choice but to do as they said, so they pass the ball. With that, we see that the ball went to one of my goats in the series, and that's Nishioka, who just barely manages to reach the ball and get it. He looks intense as we hear him struggling before saying that it was such accuracy, but just then, we see Nagi going at him at full speed as he tells Nishioka that he has got him. After that, we see yet again a random NPC screaming at Nishioka that Nagi is coming. Nishioka, however, is a bit just overwhelmed and doesn't really understand what is going on. But just then, Nagi looks cold as he confidently says that it's his. Another NPC tries to help as he tells Nishioka to just pass it over there to him, which we then see him trying to do. But instead of getting the ball to his teammates, he instead sends the ball right into Nagi's face. Nishioka gets super startled as he apologizes, but Nagi doesn't mind that at all as he just tells Kira to trap it. Kira looks hyped as he says that he is on it, but before the ball can even get close to Kira, we then see Shindo coming in their way as he tells them that their Nagi and Kira combo wasn't bad, but that it seems just touching the ball isn't enough, explaining that it doesn't count as a clear unless they secure complete possession of it. Kira can't believe anything that is going on. While then another NPC says that Shindo's jump was super high, and another one just compliments Shindo. Just then, however, Buritsuta screams that time's up and that the challenge failed. We then see all of the no-names gathering around Shindo to celebrate. After that, Buritsuta continues his talk as he says that only the exceptional birds, the first 3 pairs, can clear this, which means the next bird is Shindo, telling him to pass the ball over to the cage rolls and to name the partner that he will fight alongside. Shindo has the ball in his hand and throws it up and down before saying that he's got it. He speaks out and says that since this game means they're clear as a duo, he thinks it's testing their cooperation and trust, basically their trust-building relationship. It's the exact opposite philosophy of Blue Lock's typical egoist ideal. After that, some NPCs start to gaze at him as they say that his analysis is top tier, explaining that based on first impressions, they thought both Nagi and Kira were outstanding, but after that last play, they completely get it now. Anyway, we then head back to Shindo, who takes out his hand to Kira and tells him that they should clear this together, saying that the one who can create that trust synergy with him in this birdcage is the only Kira. Kira seems a bit confused, but he goes along with it as he tells Shindo, sure. The NPCs seem confused that Kira got chosen again, but say that they are definitely stopping the next one. We then see Nagi, who is starting to bleed, and he says that it hurts but later explains that it's not bad, talking about that analysis and calling Shindo Big Bro. Nagi then starts to look super fierce and determined as he tells them that the pain is just fine, as after all, this is Blue Lock. And with that, we see the game starting once again. Then, for page 13, we have no text, so I will do my best to try to commentate over it. We see Kira going to an NPC and trying to take the ball away from him, but he manages to pass the ball away. Shindo is right on NPC 2, so he also passes the ball. This makes both Kira and Shindo look at each other before they then, in sync, start to rush NPC 3. We then see NPC 3 being trapped in the corner of the room. He says that it's bad. Another NPC calls him an idiot and tells him to kick the ball and not to stop. This makes the first NPC panic as they just send the ball right ahead. This makes the ball bounce off Kira's foot, and with that, he starts to look super smug as he begins to laugh and explains that he got it. But just then, we see Nagi being right behind him, and he looks super dope as he traps the ball. He looks right at Kira and tells him not yet, and that he won't let them clear it yet. But sadly, we then see Shindo, who starts to look super smug and has a creepy smile as he tells Nagi that he is wrong. As he then tells Nagi that he was actually waiting for that trap of his, Nagi is super caught off guard, but also just confused by this. It doesn't take long before he finds out what is going to happen next, as we see Shindo firing off the ball right at Nagi's face, completely knocking him down to the ground. After an NPC speaks up, asking what is going on, and seeming a bit mad at Shindo, we then cut to Mizuki, who is also watching this, and he says that it's as expected, and that it sure is brutal. However, after them, we have Shindo, who looks super cold and is aura farming like crazy right now. He then speaks out and says that if you stop Nagi's movements, then you win, explaining that nothing about it is cruel, and that instead they should call it a strategy for success, calling them a bunch of unexceptional people, which seems pretty unnecessary to just roast them like that, but whatever. We then cut to Buratsuta, who starts to speak up. He screams out that both Shindo and Kira have cleared the first stage birdcage. Shindo then throws the ball backwards and says that he now gets it and calls out to Kira. He tells him that he is clearly talented and that he just lost out due to bad luck, saying that the actual level of Blue Lock itself isn't really that big of a deal after all. Kira is just silent as he hears that and just looks at Shindo. After that, both of them leave the room, and as they leave, Buratsuta speaks up. He says that those who have cleared it must move on to the next room. But we then cut to Nagi, who has been left back there. He holds his hands around his face to help with the bleeding. He then speaks out and says that it's the second time and that it sure hurts, explaining that they got him and that he is ticked off, telling himself that if he loses then it's over for good and that this is it. But just then, while he was in his thoughts, Buratsuta once again just has to open his mouth as he says that the next bird must nominate their partner. We then, funnily enough, see that the nominated player was Mizuki, and Mizuki, in a matter of nanoseconds, screams out Nagi's name. We then see Nagi, who starts to get up on his feet, and he looks colder than I have ever seen him. He looks super determined as he explains that he is back and that this fever is exactly what he wanted. We then end the chapter with the text saying, "Painful, frustrating, annoying. The egoist's favorite foods. Can't stop, won't stop, Blue Lock." We also have the title for the next chapter, and it will be called Relive. Now honestly, I really hope that they mean that it's something with Nagi, and that this is his second life, or something around that line, because that would be so insanely cool. But let me know what you think it can be. Also, there's thankfully no break next week, and honestly after seeing Nagi again, that's such a relief. Now if you know me, then I'm not the biggest Nagi fan, but seeing him once again really makes me fired up about him, and I just want to continue with the story like in an instant. Now, hopefully this video wasn't too messy, but I would understand if it was, as it was kind of tricky to make an interesting script while not having the characters' names and having to call them NPCs. But hopefully you managed to understand the general story of this chapter. And if you ask me, then I really think that this was a really good chapter. I really like seeing Nagi back in action, even though he kind of got cooked at times. And also I of course love to see my boy Nishioka, as I just love him. And I need for him to be one of the 6 players who advance out of the birdcage so that we can see more of him. But anyway, let me know what you thought of this chapter and which chapters you would want to see survive. Anyway, if you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel. And while you're at it, leave a comment and a like. Also, if you can, hype the video down below, as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video that will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.